Greetings, Millbrook families. This is news from around the district in the Millbrook Minute. First up, we have Mr. Cabello from the middle school.
Thank you. Here at the middle school, we've been getting into a lot of planning, believe it or not, for the end of the year when it comes to things like state testing, our days with our classes at the end of the year, as well as end of the year trips. We're really looking forward to getting all that great work done. This week, we also honored 17 of our National Junior Honor Society recipients. It was so great to see all their families and such a great turnout from our Board of Ed as well as our central office administrators. With news from Alden Place, here's Mr. Lipka.
Thank you, Mr. Cabello. Earlier this week, our grade level teacher teams had their reading and math coaches check in as preparation for April classroom support planning. And next, fourth graders enjoyed their Maritime Museum assembly in our all-purpose room yesterday and look forward to their trip to the museum in May. That's the Hudson River Maritime Museum in Kingston. Fifth grade will be competing in the annual fifth grade 2-on-2 basketball tournament next Thursday afternoon. Winners receive bobblehead trophies and 2 students will receive sportsmanship awards as well. Our March mindful yoga sessions are also planned for next Thursday. Have a wonderful weekend. Now to Mrs. O'Connell at Elm Drive.
Thank you, Mr. Lipka. This week, Elm staff had a marvelous Superintendent's Conference Day with professional development from Ms. Hetzer and cross-grade level collaboration. Each grade level also worked with Shelley Klein this week to further strengthen writing and shared reading. Kids enjoyed the return of mindful movements and were full of spirit today in their green attire. Next week, kindergarten registration opens on the 18th, and a reminder that pre-K registration is also open. And second grade has their field trip scheduled to the Audubon on Wednesday, March 20th. Thank you, Blazers, and have a wonderful weekend. Now on to Ms. Chanowski with news from Pupil Personnel Services.
Thank you so much, Mrs. O'Connell. We have had a very busy week here in the PPS office. We started off with a very successful Superintendent's Conference Day with lots of different training opportunities for our speech language pathologists in working together to look over their caseloads for the upcoming school year, our psychologists and nurses attending a mental health first aid training. And then we concluded our week by holding several more annual review meetings for our students at both Alden Place and the middle school. I just wanted to take this opportunity to really thank our families for showing up to these meetings and being such an active participant in your child's education. You have been prompt and on time and such a just wonderful addition to your child's educational team. So I really just want to thank you for that. And with that, I hope everyone has a great weekend. And now on to Ms. Holzberg in Student Services.
Thank you, Mrs. Chanowski. As Mrs. Chanowski had mentioned, we would like to thank Community Synergy, who provided mental health first aid training to our school counselors, psychologists, and support staff. Staff were trained in first aid skills to support youth mental health challenges, and we received a lot of positive feedback from our participants in the training. Finally, if you haven't already RSVP'd to Steer Straight's drug awareness presentation happening this Monday, March 18th from 6:30 to 8 p.m., please fill out the Google form that was sent out earlier this week. The evening presentation is in person, and it will be located in the Millbrook High School auditorium, and it is for parents and guardians. Students will receive youth presentations from grades 4 through 5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12 during the school day. If you need help accessing the form to RSVP, please email me for support, and I look forward to seeing those who have already RSVP'd. Have a great weekend, and on to Dr. Watkins and curriculum and instruction.
Thank you, Ms. Holzberg. So in addition to a very busy Superintendent's Conference Day this week, we are also in the process of sending out information on Summer Scholars. So mark your calendars. Summer Scholars will be taking place from July 1st through August 8th. You will see a form this week and the MCSD bulletin for you to register if you would like your child to participate. In addition, your child's teacher may also be sending home a letter with some recommendations on what they could be working on over the summer. Also, we have from the high school just some information regarding the upcoming senior trip. There will be a planning meeting happening that happened this week on Wednesday, March 13th, for those who are interested in attending Universal Studios. Now off to business and personnel with Mr. Garcia. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Watkins. Building on that conversation about summer programming, we have a number of positions posted on our website under the Apply Now button on the right-hand side of the main page. On that list, you're going to see some of our support positions for the summer program, in addition to a music teacher position we have and a number of other posts we have available. We also want to remind folks that at next Tuesday's Public Board of Education meeting, we will be presenting the latest iteration of the proposed budget for the 24-25 school year. So anybody that's interested in learning more about our plans, our financial plans for next year, please come out, either join us on YouTube or come on out to the board meeting. Feel free to submit questions and learn more about our spending plans for the coming year. To close us out, we'll go back to Ms. Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. So some really exciting news from the high school. Last weekend, March 8th through 11th, our Model United Nations Club had a successful trip down to New York City for the 21st annual convention. During the closing ceremonies, two of our students, Addie Francia and Kamora O'Farrell, were granted the award of distinction for representing Italy as their delegation on the topic of accountability and climate change. Kamora and Addie won this award, competing against 162 other delegates in their committee. How awesome is that? Special thanks to our chaperones and advisor, Dr. Betts, as well as Ms. Herring, Mr. Porta, and Mr. Lee, who chaperoned the trip. We have our Music in the Schools month concert coming up on Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. at the high school. We also had many of our staff members wearing Sparrow's Nest gear to support all the efforts that the Sparrow's Nest does to support families who are going through very difficult times. And I'd like to acknowledge all of our families who are observing Ramadan over the next few weeks. With that, we will see you next week. Have a fabulous weekend.